this Prismic pouch is designed to slip perfectly between the zip dividers of the Sew Together bag. The sides are designed so that they're completely vertical to maximise the space in the Sew Together bag. So to make this bag, you'll need a piece of outer fabric, lining fabric and medium woven interfacing, each measuring 13 inches wide by 10 inches high and a 12-inch zip. The pattern can be downloaded using the link in the description box below. You'll need to cut 2 pieces of outer, 2 pieces of lining and 2 of interfacing. Be sure to cut the pieces on the fold as stated in the pattern piece. You'll also need to cut a zipper tab 1 inch wide by 1.5 inches long. Once you have all your pieces cut, fuse the interfacing to the wrong sides of the 2 outer pieces. To ensure the ends of the pouch are neat, we're going to prepare the zipper. Take the 1 inch by 1.5 inch piece and fold it in half wrong sides together so the 1 inch edges match. Then open that out and fold those 1 inch edges towards that centre fold that you just made. And then refold that in half again and press so that all the raw edges are enclosed. Then take your zipper and cut the zipper stop off the end. Then place the fabric zipper tab that you just made, place that over the end you just cut and then top stitch along that to secure. Now place the zipper on your ruler so that the end tab is at the 9 inch mark, and open the zipper so that the zipper pull is flush with the start of the ruler. Then fold the zipper tape back at a 90-degree angle and just hand tack that in place using just a needle and thread. But make sure you do it in that little V corner here so it will be hidden in the seam allowances. Then repeat that with the other side. Pull that down at 90 degrees and just hand tack it in that little V section there. So this is what your zipper should look like, and once again it should measure 9 inches from the end of the tab to the end of the zipper pull. So place the zipper right sides down to face the right side of the outer piece and centre that so that there's about 1/2 inch either side of the zipper, and then either use wonder clips, glue or pins. Secure the zipper to the outer piece. Then take your lining piece and place that right side down on top of the outer piece and lining up the raw edge with the edge of the zipper tape and secure that in place. Then using your zipper foot and a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew a 1/4 inch seam along this edge here, securing the zipper to both the outer and the lining. So now we've sewn one side of the zipper, trim the excess zipper off like that, then place so the outer is facing up. Then fold the outer back and press that seam open. Leave the lining as is, then we're just going to top stitch along the outer there. We're not going to top stitch the lining as this will cause the ends of the zipper pouch to dent. So move the lining out of the way like that and just top stitch the outer in place. Then once you've done that, repeat sewing the other side of the zipper in, and the same way you did the top stitching just the outer, do the same on this side. Now we have the zipper sewn in and top stitched either side just through the outer fabric only. Turn it over and press the lining pieces back and give that a good press with your iron to hold that in place. Then flip it back over and open the zipper about halfway. Then place the right sides together of the outer and the right sides together of the lining. Then we're going to sew down this side seam here. So start by lining up this seam here and hold it with a pin or a clip, and then line up the rest of the outer here, or the lining and the outer side pieces. Then with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew along this edge here, pivoting at the zipper point there and continue along to the end. Then repeat that for the other side. Again, just making sure that this seam lines up here. Now sewn the side seams, we're just going to reduce the bulk by just cutting out a little bit of the seam here just to reduce the bulk. So just curve in like that to a bit more than 1/8 of an inch. Just like that on both sides. And just as a tip, if you're struggling to maintain a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the pivot point, use your zipper foot if it interferes, because you've got bulk here with the zipper. So it might be a little easier if you use your zipper foot to create this seam. So now we're going to go on to do the bottom seams of both the outer and the lining. So that's just a simple matter of doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance and sew along this edge here, and then repeat with the same, except leave about a 4 inch gap. Break your line of stitching. Remember to lock your stitching both ends and continue along, so we've got a gap here for turning. Now we've sewed the bottom seam of both the outer and the lining, and we've left a gap for turning in the lining. Now we're going to sew the 4 boxed corners. So to do that, open out that corner there and have the bottom seam meet the side seam and match those 2 seams together. And then pinch that out, keeping those 2 seams together. Then with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew a seam across that corner there and repeat for the other 3 corners. So now we've done the 4 corners, we're almost done. So we turn the pouch right side out through the opening that you left in the lining. And also using that opening in the lining, you can put your tools or whatever, or your fingers, and push those boxed corners out. And you can open the zipper so you can get to those corners a bit easier. But what you can also do while you've got that opening there is push this corner out. And then once you're happy with how your corners are sitting, fold the raw edges in of your lining and either machine or hand stitch that opening closed. And push all the lining down in the corners as well. and now your pouch is complete and you can fill it up and place it in your Sew Together bag.